What is going on, y'all? And today we are going to be talking about the newest trailer for the upcoming Forza Motorsport. Now, the official release date has been revealed as October 10th, and I am extremely excited not only to see the progression up to that release date, but to see what happens when this game launches and actually drops, because it is one of, for me, the most exciting games of the year. Now, I know that some of y'all are more into the open world aspect of the Horizon series, but I got my start in the Forza Motorsport series way back in, I believe it was Motorsport 2. Now, I never played the original Forza Motorsport, but getting my start in Motorsport 2 definitely gave me a really good appreciation for the way the series progressed over time, and also allows me to look back at some of the twists and turns and changes that the series has made over the course of its life. Now, looking through this trailer, obviously the visuals are gorgeous, the cars sound amazing, and the tracks look incredible. And also, they've definitely focused on making sure that we focus in a little bit more on the pit stops, and that's also quite interesting for multiple reasons. Now, we're going to go through the trailer together one more time, and then after this run of the trailer, we're going to look at some still shots of things that I think some of y'all may have missed, or things that stuck out to me when I originally watched through the trailer. Now, one of the biggest things that I noticed as this trailer played through was the day was constantly changing in time. The overall look outside was constantly changing over the course of the entire trailer. We saw day, we saw night, we saw morning, we saw evening, we saw cloudy, we saw clear, we saw kind of stormy off in the distance. There was a large focus on the sort of environmental presence of the world around you while you were racing. And can we also take a moment to comment on the wild body kit that they have on that C8 E-Ray? And also, this is one of the first appearances of an E-Ray that we've seen in a video game, which is also really, really cool. Even if the E-Ray isn't really your speed, I'm kind of digging what they did with it in this trailer. And they did also take just a little tiny moment there to kind of go back and show that, yes, we are still also focusing on classic racing as well. And right off the bat, we need to talk about the menu. Now, as you can see on the left, you have race, you have cars, you have driver, media, store, and settings. And what I love about this main menu, or this home screen rather, is that it's a very clean, clear interface that doesn't seem like it's trying to do anything other than be a main menu and do, honestly, a really direct job of just that. Now, you might say to yourself, well, of course that's what it's trying to do. It's just a main menu. But there are a lot of games where, even the home screen takes a minute to get accustomed to and a minute to learn. And here we get our first interior shot, which looks absolutely incredible. Whether or not you're a big fan of playing the game in the interior view, you can't deny that this looks absolutely gorgeous. Also, if you look ahead a little bit up the grid there, you can see the new Z, which is actually featured multiple times in this trailer. And also to the right, we have a CT5V Blackwing, which is another really exciting car to see featured in the trailer, of course, alongside the Corvette E-Ray. And here we actually get a really good 1, 2, 3 shot of all of those cars that I just talked about once again at one of the bankings at, I believe, Eagle Rock Speedway, which is also, I believe, an entirely new track to the Motorsport series. And that's once again proven right here by literally seeing the name of the track right there on the wall. Now let's talk customization, because it wouldn't be a Forza game without the in-depth customization system that we have come to know and love across the course of both the Motorsport and Horizon franchises. And as we can clearly see, the upgrade system and the PI system that we have come to know seem to have remained fairly unchanged in terms of their functionality and in terms of how they work, but I'm sure that there's been little tweaks and changes to the way things have been balanced, as they usually do whenever they bring us a new game, especially a new Motorsport game. And I think continuing to improve the upgrade and customization system is crucial because there are a lot of players that are going to be playing this game that may have not ever played a Forza Motorsport game before and only joined the series with Horizon 5. And so I think being able to jump right over from Horizon to Motorsport and dive right into the car building system and all of the customization elements of the game with a fairly familiar degree of interface, I think is a really good thing. And right here, we can see them, of course, selecting the brand new wide-body kit for the E-Ray that has gigantic ducts in the hood, or rather the frunk. It's also got freaking air ducts exiting the top of the fenders, literally vented fenders on this thing like a proper race car. It's a really wild kit. And there's also a large selection of rear wings. There's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different rear wings that you can select for this car. So I don't know if these are technically adjustable or not in terms of downforce, but that will have to remain to be seen. Although I really do hope that they give us more options than just the generic Forza wing in terms of actually a wing that we can use for adjustable downforce, because let's be honest, if you're racing online, you're going to need a wing to be competitive, and I honestly, or at least you're going to need a wing in a lot of different types of racing online to be competitive, and because you're going to need that adjustable downforce, and it's nice to be able to aesthetically choose different wings and still retain the, ability to have downforce on the back of the car. And then finally, here we see the finished product at the starting grid on what I believe is Suzuka Circuit. And interestingly, we also see here that drivers and characters are milling around outside of the cars before the start of the race, but it still says in-game footage at the bottom of the screen. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, is this a new kind of pre-race screen, or is there something more in-depth going on here? And then as we kick off the race, you can see again the Z right in front of us, and also over to our right, we have a R35 GTR Nismo, which is a really cool car to see in this trailer. I know that the R35 GTR has been around for forever now, but there's no denying that the Nismo version is absolutely incredible. I also briefly want to touch on the fact that they really seemed to focus in on some of the nighttime effects, including the stars in the sky and the fireworks lighting up the night sky, and how those different lighting changes affected the surface of the track and the cars and the reflections in the paint. It looks really, really cool, and I can't wait to see how night racing plays out in this game. And of course, here we see a beautiful shot of race cars ascending Eau Rouge at Spa with some absolutely beautiful lighting going on in the background and coming over the tree line. I think this is one of the most beautiful shots in the trailer, if not the most beautiful shot. Jumping back over into nighttime now, we get a gorgeous look right here around the start line of Le Mans, and you can see not only the crowds up there in the stands, but all of the boxes and the essentially like the areas above the garages all beautifully lit up, and you can actually see in through the windows, which that level of detail I do not recall having in prior Forza Motorsport games. That's absolutely beautiful. However, this next part of the trailer leads us into a more interesting and deeper discussion, and that is pit stops. Because near the end of the trailer, obviously where it still says in-game footage right there on the bottom of the screen, we see characters running up over the pit wall, gathering around the car, grabbing an impact, and actually buzzing the wheel off of the car. And we see other characters kind of running around to the other side of the car. Maybe they had a tire or a wheel and tire in hand, and we see much more focus on animated pit stops. And so I think it's fair to wonder, to maybe think, I'm not going to say assume, but fair to think that pit stops, and especially detailed pit stops, could be a much bigger focus than we've seen in the past. And I think it's very fair to kind of take that route with it, especially after what we're seeing here in this trailer. And I mean, come on, proper pit stops in a Forza Motorsport game have been one of the things that this series has been needing, in my opinion, for many, many years. And I know that for some people, they might say, well, that doesn't add to the, the gameplay experience of racing against the other drivers. But here's the thing, that's not the only element that makes the racing feel authentic. That's not the only element that makes the racing feel immersive. Sure, the driving is at the forefront of any racing racing game, but pulling you into the experience and immersing you within the race, especially if it's a longer endurance race. Pit stops are something that are just going to be a reality of long distance racing and endurance racing. And when they are something that needs to happen, it's important, I think, in order to keep that level of immersion, that the pit stops feel real, or at least as real as they possibly can. Now, I'm also curious if the suits and the helmets are going to change in detail from like race team to race team, or, maybe depending on how you customize them, or are they preset? That's something that we will have to answer at a later date. But the pit stops, to me, were probably the most exciting part of this trailer. And with that, I want y'all to let me know in the comments down below what you are most looking forward to in the upcoming Forza Motorsport, and if you are going to be transferring over to it as a new person to the series from maybe like you started in Horizon 4 or Horizon 5 and you never played a motorsport game, or if you started many, many years ago in the early days of Forza Motorsport, even before the Horizon games were around. But that's going to do it for this deep dive, and I hope y'all enjoyed, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on, and I will see y'all next time.